So today we're gonna do another, fish profile or whatever we call them, Fish Wednesday. I'm gonna probably stop saying Fish Wednesday just because obviously it's not on a Wednesday. Except ever since school started, it's been super hard to even do like certain videos on the days that I actually plan them on. So all through the school year, don't really, I guess, expect them to be, on the days they're planned, like the Plant Monday, and the fish profile on Wednesdays. But yeah, they're probably gonna be on random days most of the time. Sometimes I'll film them on the days, but I won't get them uploaded, so that's why. But today we're actually gonna talk about a fish that I actually just got like 2 days ago, and that is Otocinclus. And if you haven't seen Otocinclus or never heard of them, they're they're a freshwater catfish. They're not the catfish that you might be thinking of. They're more, if you ever seen Pluctos, they're more like that, but they're actually really tiny and they're a lot skinnier and slim and definitely smaller. They only get up to about 2 inches. And after I talk about this, I'll actually go up close in camera and you can actually see one right there. They're very small. Compared to this Plucto right here, you can see just how small they get. And I'll show them in a minute after I, sell the information, but let's see if we can get a picture. This is kind of the best right now, but yeah, this is kind of blurry picture, but this is basically, get the focus. They're basically just a really slim catfish that is an algae eater, and if you're dealing with, now one of these, a reason these fish become so popular is because if you have brown algae, which all of us have had brown algae, it's just part of having a fish tank. You're, especially having a plant tank, you're eventually gonna get brown algae. It's just part of it, and it sucks when you do because especially with me having a bunch of rocks and there's so much holes and cracks that the brown algae grows in, it makes it impossible to clean, and so that's why I mainly got these. But I've always wanted Otocinclus. I think they're, a lot of people get like Plecto shrimp and autos for, they want to use them as cleaner fish and they really don't care about them. Me, I actually like having fish like this, like my Plecto. I don't even care that he cleans or not. I don't even think he does. Regardless, but he's definitely the mascot of the tank. He's the oldest one in this tank. He's about 2.5 years old, about 3.5 inches. He's definitely became the main thing in this tank. And same with the autos. Hoping that they'll do good in this tank. But they're definitely one of my favorite fish that I've never even gotten to keep because they've never been in my area. And I actually, if you're wondering where I got them, I actually got them offline on eBay. A breeder had them, and usually everybody knows that getting fish offline can be very expensive. It's usually the shipping that kills you. Um, Usually the shipping's like 40 or 50 bucks to get a fish, so I actually ended up getting free shipping, so I only paid like 30 bucks for 6 of them, which is expensive, but I mean, getting them offline, that's honestly not bad. But they came in a box, insulated box with heat pack, so they came nice and good and healthy. But definitely, but one of the things that surprised me is usually, these fish are very finicky, so you're gonna want to acclimate them. And even better, if you have a tank that's already established, um, and you already have fish in there and you don't want anything happening, you want to quarantine these fish 100%. You never know, and honestly, I don't really quarantine fish. I don't really have a setup to do that. I do have tanks to quarantine fish if I really need to, but I kind of risked it. But even if you don't do it, you can do what I do, which is a bucket and do a drip system and put them in the bucket, and I let them acclimate in the bucket for about, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours. So they're in a bucket for a long time, just getting used to the water. And I put them in there. They really weren't that scared. They stayed on the glass for a while, and then they started moving around. And then 2 hours later, they were already eating the brown algae. These S repens, they were covered. Like you couldn't even see the green on the S repens. I'll bring you up close in a minute. The they're totally clean now. I mean, they're not 100%, but they're like 10 times better than they've ever looked in weeks. And the rocks will probably take more time, but they definitely have a while to, snack on all the brown algae. But yeah, this fish is, I probably, in my really, if I had to say, this might be a little bit of an intermediate fish, just because you do have to have an established aquarium. That's a must. If you put these in a newly set up tank, they're 100% probably gonna die. They're always wild caught. Mine are actually tank bred, so they are already basically used to a tank. So I had the kind of the advantage. So they'll probably take pellets instantly, and don't have to worry about them not eating. And that's another thing. If you get these like from a pet store, they're most likely gonna be caught wild. And the bad thing is, they're gonna eat probably a brown algae. They're gonna eat that. But one thing is, that's the only thing they're used to eating. They're not used to eating this pellet food that or wafers. And so getting them to eat that is probably gonna be literally impossible for a while. And that's what most people have troubles with, is their Otocinclus will end up starving and dying. So mine has a slightly advantage just because, they've been in tanks before, they know how it goes. But when they do have a established aquarium, you have to make sure you do frequent water changes. Probably, most likely weekly, probably a must. I do water changes twice a week, so my water quality is as good as it can possibly get for my water. And so there's nothing ever that can go really wrong in my tank unless something weird happens. But yeah, like I said, these fish only get a couple inches. Mine are about probably a good inch right now, so they're pretty decent size. Temperatures, you know, except they're kind of from the wild, they like warmer water, but you don't need to get too warm. At the most 78 degrees, which is what my tank is at. Mine's actually a little bit warmer, like 79. But you can definitely keep them in like room temperature water. That'd be perfectly fine. But 70 to 78 is just fine. And pH, as long as you keep it stable, that's all you have to worry about. You know, fish, they say, oh, you need like this fish, they'll say you need a pH of 6 to 7.5. Well, don't worry about what pH it exactly needs, unless you're actually breeding or something, then you can, worry about it. But don't change the pH, like drastically, just because, you're afraid your fish is gonna end up dying, which it might, but it's better just to keep everything stable. Just don't start changing parameters out of nowhere, because then the fish are gonna get shocked, and everything in your tank's probably end up gonna die, most likely, unless you have some like insanely hardy fish. So even if your pH is 8, just don't change it. That's what I was worrying about. I was gonna buy pH buffers, to lower it. Just don't mess with all that stuff. It's not the best idea. So just don't even worry about messing with any of that stuff. Just keep it stable and you'll be perfectly fine. They'll get used to it after a while. But they do come from South America. I was kind of mentioning that when I was saying they come from kind of like streams and rivers. But usually in the wild caught, I don't know if they exactly get them from South America. I would guess, but lifespan, I've seen people keep Otocinclus for about 3 to 5 years. That's probably good for plectos too. Any of those catfish, they seem to live for 3 to 5. Maybe plectos longer, but Otocinclus, they're a little more smaller, so they might only live for 3 to 5. But I've seen people go way longer. It's just a matter of keeping the tank clean and maintenance, and your fish will live a long time than they really should. But aquarium size, unless you have very few fish in a 10-gallon, then you could. But these fish need big schools, and I have 5 in here, which isn't the best, but it's good. It's basically the minimum. But I have a good amount of fish in here now. Really not for this size tank. Really, I could add so much more fish, but I decided to only get 5. I don't really want to spend a lot of money right now. But I would say at least 20 gallons or more, just because you do need probably a good 5 to 10 school. even better, probably 15 to 20. If you want to get, the best schooling action possible out of these fish. But tank mates, probably the most peaceful bottom feeder or algae eater it's out there. They won't mess with your fish. They won't do anything. If you have shrimp, it's kind of half and half. They are shrimp safe, but uh, you never know though. Every fish is different, but they're basically safe for any fish. You don't want to put them with big fish, but if you have a peaceful community tank, they'll do just fine. They won't mess with your fish, and if a fish messes with them, they probably won't do anything, but they are very peaceful, so you don't have to worry about them attacking anything. They're too small to even do anything anyways. But yeah, that's about information. But the thing, if I bring you up close, you can see how see right there, you can see kind of what the leaks did look like. Just a bunch of brown algae just built up. You can see it all over here too, because these brown algae gets all in these cracks, and it's just a big mess. But you see that's rapids now. They're decently clean now. I'm just waiting for them to the rocks are pretty good right now, but you can see, you can't really see it on camera, but you get to see like all the brown in these rocks, and it's just impossible to clean. You see, I don't know if that's algae or what, but if you look at the top, I don't know how well you can see it, but you see a little bit of green on top. I doubt that's green algae, but it might. I don't know why it would randomly just start growing in green algae, but my light's like never on, so algae growing is like surprisingly in this tank, because the light's only on for like 5 to 6 hours. On the weekends, maybe 8 hours. But yeah, everything's looking good. The Nubius is, I actually cut off a lot of leaves, so now it's just, I left all the healthy ones. This one's kind of concerning, and this one, they're kind of losing color, but I'm fertilizing, so they should be fine. That one back there, I don't even know no more. I haven't paid attention to it that much, to be honest, but camera's probably really shaky. That's why I kind of keep it stable, but if it's really shaky, my bad. But where's these Otocinclus so we can get a... there's a shot right here. There's one back there. See if there's one up close that we can take a look at. Get you... and there's one right here. You can't... It's the bottom of it, but it'll do. But you can see they're just focus. There we go. You can see there. Very cool. I think this one's missing a fin. Yeah, see that? I don't know if that's... You see that? What? He doesn't have a fin right here. I haven't took a good... Oh no, it's good. I saw it. Yeah, see it popping out now. I was kind of concerned for a second. I'm like, I hope they're not getting beat up. But, see if I can... I don't know how well I can get this thing focused on. Oh, there we go. I ain't that bad. Let's see if we can zoom out a little more. Yeah, that's basically what it looks like. Very cool. More gray, black, and white color. The bottom is white, and there's a black strip that runs down their side, and then the rest of their body is kind of just spotted with gray. But yeah, that's a little something on Otocinclus. Probably one of my favorite fish right now, or at least on my top list. But yeah, if you guys want to know anything about them, I got them now, so I'll probably know a little bit now that I have them. But if you guys want to recommend anything for next week's Fish Wednesday, or you want to recommend a plant, and if you recommend plant or fish, you'll get a shout out in those videos. So just so you guys know that. And that's it. So comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. See ya.